Welcome! As Queen of Dokapon Kingdom, it is my proud right and honor to bring an opening to the first and last Pokemon Gen 1 Pixel Doctor Draft video. Applause, please. Such is a wonderful honor to be able to tell all of my friends here their choices are terrible, or that if they do have a good choice, it was mine in the long run. As with all things, please comment after the video with your choice and how I, Queen of Dokapon Kingdom, am the true winner today. There, that's your opening, Zach.
You son of a bitch.
You knew this would. He's got all the. MJ has all.
Did you
the
really expect otherwise?
He said it was gonna make.
Swallowed half a dozen rocks.
He said he was gonna make me. It was gonna make us mad before you guys joined in earlier, and yep, he did it right with the first sentence. Not even the first sentence, the declaration of his name. All right.
I stopped getting mad at MJ. I just get disappointed now.
You can only be
I'm not even
disappointed
disappointed
in your...
because disappointment would mean I had higher hopes for him. I did not.
Jeez.
Don't worry,
This
one
is
of these
fully
days
character
you
friend.
can all get to my level as Queen of Dokapon Kingdom.
Oh, fuck the farthest off with that.
MJ, you have to let it go. Dokapon wasn't real.
You see, you
Dokapon
say
can
that,
hurt
but
you,
it is so
Dokapon.
funny to get the reactions.
Anyway, for actual proper character introductions, because I guess that's technically in a way what we are here. One already introduced themselves, the Queen of Dokapon. We have dumbasses.
Look, man, it's my name literally on the server. Well, okay, correction, it's Empress of Dokapon. I toned it down a little bit for the video.
You're the one that named yourself that. No one else named you that.
Yeah, I toned it down just a little bit for you.
Pokemon Champion Fexic.
Good to be here.
You won the MMO, so that's why you're Pokemon Champion right now.
Hey, I don't question. You want to call me the champion? I will. I am more than happy to let you.
We'll run that shit back at some point. When
Mhm.
Black and White comes out.
No, we won't.
In the meantime, I appreciate the bended knee.
A deadlock.
Yeah, hi. I'm here with these clowns.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a title in mind for you. We didn't.
Well, as long as we're throwing back. Actually, no. I got my MMO and my Nuzlocke confused for a second. I was gonna call him the guy who got bitch slapped by birds.
No, that was me that died to the birds. Deadlock died to the bugs.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, it was so sad. You might actually see something about that later. You might.
Yeah,
There you
so-
go, that. Well, there you
if
go.
you-
Now you got your name.
If you want to know what you're talking about, please go check out our Hercule to Silver Nuzlocks.
It was soul wrenching. Please watch.
It wasn't for
was-
you. It
it
wasn't
was-
for you until
it
about the
hurts.
halfway point. And then yeah,
I knew Judo was gonna be brutal.
well, don't worry, Hoen's next. By the time of this recording, we have not done that yet, but we will. We will. And
As
anyway,
soon as we get a half dozen other projects out of the way.
well, no, we just need one out of the way technically.
Anywho's it.
Anyway, and I'm the host, Pixel Doctor.
Yep.
Now that our lengthy intros are out of the way, MJ is starting off this list. You obviously see the order at the top of the screen. If you've seen the other two videos, also go check those out. And MJ are pretty much ready to hit them, like the comment at the end of the videos to vote. And MJ, go start us off with round one.
Alright, round one, starting off with actually just my favorite Pokemon of all time, Blastoise.
Blastoise.
I don't like him for any other reason than just generally his looks, and that's actually one of the first Pokemon I started with. I started with, Squirtle, brought him up straight to Wartortle, and then Blastoise, and then kept him in the team for the entirety of my first Gen 1 playthrough. And it's a Pokemon that I keep going back to basically every time I can to keep it in the team, just because I like him, you know? Cool little turtle with, giant shoulder cannons, which finally they actually used.
It took them long enough.
How did it take them all of these years to finally give him his shoulder cannons firing?
And
Either way, respectable choice.
yes, this video compared to other drafts will probably be shorter because Pokemon don't usually have a whole lot of backstory or anything behind them. So for us, it's probably gonna come down mostly to design and use. So
What I like, and this is a bit of a deeper cut for at least the Kanto starters, but when all the numbers are run statistically, if you were to pit the starters, all three of them in a battle royale, the majority of the time, Blastoise is actually the one that comes out on top.
Yeah, great type coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Great type coverage, relatively tanky to actually withstand the hits coming his way, and he can answer both of his opponents
Yep.
quite easily.
Stat distribution isn't bad either.
And on top of that, can also stop any setups that enemies have up because what is it?
Rapid spin.
Yes, rapid spin. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can stop trap moves.
Which
Well,
now
Mega-
which
Field
now
coverage.
also gives a speed boost.
Yup.
Megastoise isn't that bad either.
True.
Mhm.
Third
I'll admit,
cannon.
I kind of prefer original still over Mega, just because it was cool with the two shoulder cannons, going with the third one, with the two on the arms and then one on the head, or one on the back. I don't know. It doesn't look as nice for me.
What I
I
appreciate.
mean, the ability is still fitting at the very least. Just
I was
make
gonna
all
say.
the pulse and like shot moves just all the more powerful.
Oh,
Exactly.
definitely.
So if you run the Water Pulse, Dark Pulse, and Aura Sphere set, you're demolishing almost everything.
It's time. I mean, between the three starters, I struggle to pick between, Bulbasaur or Squirtle, so I accept either one in the end stage.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing, MJ. What about the G-Max form? Honestly, I think it's one of the best Aganos got.
I forgot I got that.
Yeah, no, I kind of forgot I got that because that would require
I mean, yeah,
G-Max to be around for more than one game.
I mean, it's still a cool form when you look
Shots
at it.
fired.
It
Like,
is.
All the
Like, it's
shots
cool
fired.
that it's cool that they turn it into like a living fortress, but it'd be nice if any of this was actually still usable. But I guess design changes.
I
That's
agree.
what I
Did
was
you
saying.
even play the
Megas.
Gen games?
I agree with it looks cool, but again, at least Megas were around for a couple games. Sword Shield was in one.
Yep.
Yeah, like,
Kind of gimmick
and
and
it's
stick
not
with
even.
it.
I wouldn't even. I'd argue that in Sword and Shield, like, even then it drops it because it's not even super useful in Sword and Shield.
Not only that, you can't even get it till like post game.
Yeah, which is
No, you
really
can actually get
stupid.
it before the post game. I
Where
did.
where besides importing it, where do you get it?
You get it. Technically, you don't have to do the post. Actually, be in the post game to get to the Isle of Armor. You could just get into it earlier on, and everything's like the 20s or something.
Then where do you get Where do you get Squirtle? Where do you get it?
You get it gifted after like the first leg of the run.
I don't remember that.
I don't either, but then
Yeah, I literally had the freaking War Turtle by the time I got to the Fire Gym.
I mean, I'll be honest, that would have required me to actually go to the Isle of Armor.
Yeah, which is another matter entirely because
I
Well,
couldn't.
we had to
stay
play
interested in
favorites to
Shield.
Charizard.
Like, I couldn't. Like, Pokemon Scarlet at least keeps my interest because worst comes to worst, I can invite you guys in and we can just go scroll around. Sword and Shield,
It's
Couldn't
weak,
stay
but I think we're
interested
getting
in
off
it.
topic at this point.
Yep. I was about to say,
Yeah.
good job segueing back into it. Before we keep going, Dillock, go on to your next pick. Their first pick.
Well, if we're going to be talking about one generational gimmicks, might as well have one for my next pick because it's not even a fully evolved Pokemon. It's Eevee. Like, I mean, everyone here who knows me knew I was going to pick Eevee.
Boo!
Eevee's just
Boo!
shot it. Because honestly, one of the things I would just love out of Eevee is its versatility. Out of any Pokemon, for some reason, it's like one of the only ones to have just so many ways you could just take it to that. Even if you don't like one form, doesn't really matter. You could just go in like one of 8 directions, which is more than any other Pokemon to date, and just have something of value to you. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like edgy and darkness of Umbreon? Well, that's fine. We have Sylveon over here. We have Psychics. We have Fire and Electricity. We have like just about any direction you want to go, even if you want to go for the memes. And all of them are just like just nice in their own, but even still, like, Eevee's just a nice, cute fluff ball that's honestly, it's really hard for me to find, like, pick a favorite for anything that's cute. and Eevee's just there for me every single time. Just always happy to see it whenever I can. It's probably the second mascot if it wasn't for Charizard. Dear God, that guy gets me trouble. But
Yeah,
honestly,
no.
one of my favorite things, because I was talking about generational gimmicks earlier, is its Z move. It only gets it, not its evolution, and it just calls every single evolution to give it a double Omni boost, which is honestly makes it a threat in its own right. Or you could just be lame and just baton pass it onto something else, but that's your prerogative, not mine. I will have it fight and just be an awesome threat in its own right. That move was awesome.
Now,
Well,
here's the real question, Deadlock. What evolution is your favorite?
I think I know the answer to this.
Honestly, it's probably Umbreon, but
I was
honestly,
wrong.
wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset if you gave me Espeon or even Jolteon or freaking Vaporeon. Like, you'd be hard pressed for me to find an evolution that I don't like. Even Sylveon, which it's just not to my taste. I would not be upset with it. It's a powerhouse and a workhorse.
If
He'll get
Flareon,
one that shines above all the others when they finally release a rock type evolution.
say Flareon, even though
Steel.
its stats and stuff aren't good, design-wise, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's honestly not a bad design, anyways.
So Flareon's thing is that, like, yes, its physical attack is great, but its speed is middling at best, and it gets no good moves to take advantage of the attack stat.
Well, that's
I
not
mean, it gets
true.
Flare Blitz at the most, which is
It gets-
the only problem.
Now, see, I say good moves. Ones that damage you as much as Flare Blitz does are kind of subjective.
And honestly, I wouldn't mind the damage so much if he was at least fast enough to actually take advantage of it and just murder everything.
I mean,
before
you could choice scarf it.
It's usually
it.
still
but
not
you
gonna
could choice
outspeed.
scarf so many other things.
Honestly, you'd probably rather give it either Flame Charge or the new grass one that does the same. I forget what it's called.
At least that one gives coverage.
Yes.
Yeah, because and that's another thing is it's not great for type coverage. So if you're gonna be doing mono fire, you might as well just go for choice scarf Flare Blitz.
Anyway, this isn't a hit piece
Yeah.
on Flareon, so if anyone else has anything to add Eevee, which
Yeah,
I do,
this isn't.
Gmax
I'm
Eevee is
just
very
saying,
fluffy.
It is that, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I also just love how its Dex essentially describes it as being so fluffy. It just captures the hearts of anyone, like some sort of mass hypnotist of fluff.
And not only
Eevee
that, Eevee actually has 2 games where it is the starter. Can you name?
Yes.
I would say,
Yep.
can you name those games?
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's
Let's go Eevee and XD Gale of Darkness.
Correct. And the nice thing about XD is you can evolve
if
it.
you want to count Explorers of Sky.
No, that is not. That is a side game. That does not count. I'm counting XD because it still plays like a regular
I'm
Pokemon
sorry,
game.
the Coliseum games don't.
I count it.
And on top of that, you know that Eevee is great because he even got over into Pal World.
Shut up.
Stop.
This controversy has long since passed. No one cares anymore.
Yeah, no.
All right. Yeah.
Eevee is just like it gets the love it deserves for a reason. You can never go wrong with Eevee, even if you just don't have like a specific form. That's fine. You could just have it evolve into anything you want it to, just to suit your needs. You need a tank. You need a frontline fighter. You need a spell slinger. Well,
Yeah,
spell
that just
slinger,
means
but
Eevee itself
anyways.
isn't good enough. But I do have to give Eevee some credit because it's one of the Pokemon my mom still remembers. So you know what? I'll let it pass.
Like,
All right. Della's been
Ver-
talking
it
too
is like
much.
the crowning jewel of evolution.
Della's
Fine,
talking
fine,
too
fine,
much.
go on.
Chris, go, please.
All right, then I'm going to keep the fuzzy mammalian Pokemon going, and I'm going to throw back into the fire discussion too. So sorry,
Oh, you
Zach,
son
but
of
I'm
a
picking
bitch.
Ninetales. Yep, picking Ninetales.
I had a feeling you're gonna skunk me like this.
Yeah, it was not intentional, but I figured if I didn't get this one in the first round, you were gonna. So,
To be
it's
to be fair, I prefer Alolan, but we just for I probably already put in the rules that went before the video, but just in case I forgot, regional forms are counted in the region they were introduced.
so foxes, one of the animals on my top 5 list of favorite animals, and Ninetales has always been one of those ones where usually whenever I played, or when I played the Gen 1 games, or not the original ones, but at the very least the Game Boy Advance remakes, And almost every game where Ninetales is an option, it makes, at the very least, a brief tenure in my team. I definitely like the fact that its special attack and speed are respectable, as well as the deceptively good special defense, which, if you run all offensive moves, makes it really good for the Assault Vest. Move coverage-wise, it's got a pretty wide variety, so you can take a Stab Fire move, and then it also gets Extrasensory, Dark Pulse, and Dealer's Choice of either Energy Ball or Solar Beam. If you're running Drought, its hidden ability, Solar Beam, obviously is a little more in line with what you're trying to do. But the design is just beautiful. Like, it's regal looking, it's elegant, and still has that air about it that says, yeah, I can fuck you up if I want to.
I'm pissed. I didn't expect you to do this to me in round 1. Honestly, I expected you to pick, like, Gyarados or something.
Yeah, mea culpa, boss.
Which probably means he's gonna pick it.
And is it time for the revenge posting, Zach? Are you gonna, try to steal one of his?
Well, just to talk about Ninetales for a second, I really have nothing much to add other than it gets good supporting moves. Having Will-O-Wisp is always nice on anything.
Yeah.
It actually has the speed to make it useful too, to actually help its bolster defenses.
And if I remember correctly, I believe it also gets Hex. Yeah, it does. I'm looking at it right now. It also gets Hex, so
and that's a whole other moveset you can do.
Yeah,
I personally I'm more into like the all-out attack mentality, so I like doing I think Ninetales with Drought, and then Flamethrower, Extrasensory, Dark Pulse, and Solar Beam is my setup with an Assault Vest.
Who introduced you to that, I wonder?
Durable tank with a big ass fucking cannon.
Yeah, I miss my girl Ami.
Where you got that name from?
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna say I didn't take that from somewhere. Although there is a bit of a difference between a dog and a... Seeing as Chris is a son of a bitch, I'm not gonna steal anyone's pick right now. In fact, I'm gonna tell Delok to fuck off, and I'm gonna pick the best evolution out of any of them. I'm going with Jolteon, baby!
Nice.
Always,
I don't understand how this is a jab at me, even though that was the first Kanto one I said.
because Eevee's a bitch. These evolutions are all better. I really have nothing to say, I just wanted to stab you. But Jolteon's always been my boy. He's always reliable. Good speed, well, one of the best speeds, especially in Gen 1. And very high special attack. Decent move pool, although they nerfed it over the years. They took away my Signal Beam! Give it back.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Please.
Nope, you're stuck with an electric move and Shadow Ball now.
But it just... Jolteon, design-wise, has always been very good to me. It is sharp, both in style and if you touch it, it's pointy. And, like, I just want to pet it. Like, if you just look at it, it looks like, did I do good? I did good. Give me a pet. So, design-wise, it's always been very strong for me. And it's one of the rare Pokemon, because I don't typically like yellow as a color that much. But Jolteon does it good. Unfortunately, it's shiny as shit. Can't do anything about that. This Game Freak doesn't try.
Why did they make it sick?
Yeah, they made poor Jolteon have a little bit of a seasickness or something going on there, some food poisoning or something.
Oh yeah, because it's like that disgusting lime green, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like that pale, sickly green.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's not great. It's got easily one of the worst shinies of the evolutions.
And yet, a lot of them get that. A lot of them get that color. Is that like just something with the numbers, or what?
I don't know, but Espeon gets the sage green. I'm all about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at Espeon, and it's got a nice shade of green going on there.
People
Ninetales
apparently
is silver.
Silver and like purple at the tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I could even take Dragonite's green, but no.
That's more like
sorry, Jolteon, you got screwed.
Yeah, that's more like army green.
I was gonna say like a foresty green, but yeah.
At least your
I would say
Pokemon
swamp
got a
green,
different,
but-
like, actual, like, shiny color. What did Blastoise get? Shell's green.
Yeah, Blastoise got a
No, it's
green
purple.
shell and slightly pinker skin.
Yeah, like literally almost nothing.
Not really. It's definitely
Yeah,
something.
I mean, with the pink skin, you basically changed the whole theme of the gender reveal party.
True.
Look, man, we're not trying to cause
Stop.
war crimes with a gender reveal party.
Stop.
I can't really say too much about Jolteon just because it's Pokemon, so it's not like there's too much background detail to these things, unfortunately. But just design's good, stats good, good boy. Or girl.
Mhm.
I just
But
wish
good
you
boy.
got more coverage than just Shadow Ball and Signal Beam. That actually
Well,
makes
what do you
sense.
mean? They don't. It doesn't get Signal Beam anymore.
You
Okay.
mentioned
Well,
you mentioned
just
petting
had
it though. I imagine it would be similar to petting a hedgehog.
Yes, you would have to pet it from the front.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it does.
And
It does
you
get.
also have to be
You have to
careful
with
that you don't, generate too much of an electric current, or else
Well,
No,
it's a literal walking taser.
no, I'm gonna wear socks and scuff across the carpet before I pet a Jolteon.
Jesus Christ, you're gonna get yourself killed there.
He's-
Local man turned to dust after petting Jolteon.
after petting dog.
Headquarters, we got a taser deployed. I need EMS to my location.
Bring the
10,000
Pikachu's.
volts they can do, so careful with that.
Well, going on from that, I'm gonna go to something that, would lose to Jolteon, but what are the best design? I know this would probably mean stolen from someone. I'm going with Lapras.
Ooh, okay.
I love Lapras. And if none of you
Lapras is
guys
really
didn't
cool.
have it on your list, then you're stupid. I have no saving graces for you.
I
But-
will say
I'll
that
be honest, I
Lapras
have no
and
idea
Shiggy
why I
Max
didn't
at least
have it.
nice.
Lapras,
It's a nice cruise liner.
it looks like it's just always happy. Like, it looks like it's just always having a chill time. And especially, like, back in the anime, it always just made the cute little, like a little happy screech kind of sound. I don't really know how to describe it. I'll play a clip of it probably. But it's just very graceful the way it moves, and it's known as the typical, like, the surfing Pokemon in most games. Like, it uses either its sprite, or in Gen 7 you just surf on a Lapras at one point, except for
You
Bad
actually
Time.
can in Gen 6.
I will say though, for some reason, like the designers gave it bedroom eyes in like one of its sprites.
Yeah, but that's, whatever. I don't care about that. But it is a plesiosaur with a, like, rock shell for you to ride on, and it just looks like, it looks so good. It looks soft too, like, and
Yeah.
going past the design, its stats are really well spread, mostly in HP and then some in, like, special defense and decent special attack with low speed.
This thing is a monster in combat. It is hard to put down and just hits like a truck back.
Yeah,
I
it
remember this being the thing that I dreaded seeing the most in red and blue, because it meant I was going to be stuck on Lorelei for a little while.
Thankfully, I always had a Jolteon, so I never struggled
Yeah,
with it
if,
too
if
much.
there was a reason for Nuzlocke to come to an end, Lorelei's Lapras is probably one of them.
And its move pool is decently split. It's got a good amount of physical and special moves, but mostly one special. But apparently it gets Dragon Dance now, so you could run a physical sweeping Lapras, which is kind of funny. But the move
I mean,
pool,
it's funny, but then again, it's also just type diversity it has also. Like, you get, like, your obviously water and ice moves, but it also has Psychic and Ghost into its mix also, which makes it weirdly diverse. Then you also have, like, numerous other techniques, like Ice Shard for priority, Confuse Ray, even Body Slam just to get paralysis on the field. And of course, it's Call to Fame Perish Song.
and don't
Sheer cold, just to really make you sweat.
and you can give it rest to just outlast.
Also, going off the games for a minute, there was a kind of a one and done meme that I saw a couple of years ago, and the poster had the caption read, "So I told my little sister that in the Pokemon lore, Lapras is highly endangered because they kept being caught and used for transfer by humans. So she caught she started breeding a bunch of Lapras and releasing them just so the numbers would go back up."
And it's canon.
There shouldn't, yeah, it is.
They actually added into, like, Lapras's dex entries that following protective regulations is now an overabundance of them.
Honestly, in the Pokemon world, there should never be an extinction problem, just for two reasons. One, they can revive fossils, so I'm assuming they can revive pretty much anything. And
Well,
two, you can easily breed these things.
The problem initially was poaching, which is its own issue.
Well, yeah, Team Rocket for that. Don't poach. If you're a poacher, get out of my videos. Leave.
Just if you're a poacher, just go ahead and take
Just
it.
from Monobolos.
We can't
Yeah,
say
just-
that. No, we can't say it. I know what you want to say. Don't say it. I agree,
I was
but
just
don't say it.
like, I was gonna say cancel your subscription, but
Well, I mean,
No, leave the subscription, but just don't watch the videos.
yes, exactly. I
Actually,
need the
just leave
numbers.
them on the background. But
But mute the
Zach,
videos
you
because you
say
don't
that-
deserve to hear.
But Zach, you say you don't like poachers, but yet you're a Monster Hunter fan.
No, that's different. We're not poaching. We're
totally.
trying to.
You know,
we're
we
trying.
can choose what quest we go on.
Yeah, you're still poaching specific monsters for military benefit.
No,
remember the Nargacuga, Zach. Remember her.
I didn't do that. You're the one that
Yes,
hunted
you
it.
did.
You're the one that
You
hunted it.
enabled You enable them,
Helped
Zach.
him.
If you put these people in power, you're just as guilty as they are.
I did nothing wrong.
I
Keep
would
up.
have gone with Monobolos personally in that regard, but that's my own more institution.
All right.
That was
well,
that was the previous draft.
yeah, we're past that, Deadlock. Come on now.
No, I mean like on the poaching front is what I meant.
Well, Deadlock,
be
we're past that, and we're past this, so it's Chris's turn.
Yep, but we. Fine.
Then my second pick is gonna be Gyarados.
Oh, shock, surprise.
Someone was gonna pick it sooner or later.
I told you to pick her.
Nobody's-
I told you to pick it round one because I knew he was gonna pick it.
But yes, the fish that swims up the waterfall and becomes a dragon. The only thing is, it's not a dragon, unfortunately. Not even the mega form is dragon. It's water dark for some reason. But it does get Moxie as a hidden ability, so that's like it's one of those things where like, oh, I just can't stay mad at you. The design is cool. I personally appreciate the I think they call it like in the animal kingdom, it's called sexual dimorphism, where the males and females look different. So it's most pronounced in species like Pyroar, where obviously they look way different. Gyarados is a little more subtle. I think it's just the size of the teeth and the color of the whiskers, but it's still something.
It's actually the length of the whiskers. I think it's also the length of the whiskers too. I could be mistaken on that.
I think it's varied between the games, but I know at the very least the whiskers change color. So the males will match their scale color, so blue for the normal, red for the shiny, and then the females have white whiskers. But, and then I'm sure I shouldn't have to remind most of you of my Gyarados Pisces and how much Moxie just demolished.
I don't remember. You haven't played a battle with me in a
There's,
while, so I don't remember.
I think Deadlock was in on that fight. It was one of the ones we did with Homicide. But but I ran a Choice Scarf and everything on the field was weak to Earthquake, so he OHKO'd all three things, got a +3 attack increase, and then swept everything else and won me the free-for-all.
Wouldn't mind doing
Anytime.
those again, but no one volunteers.
But even
Yeah,
worse
Gyarados
than
is
that,
just a monster in his own right, and even if you don't go with the Moxie route, Intimidate is not a bad option either.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just deep.
Yeah, and Intimidate is still good. Like ever since they added abilities in Gen 3, Gyarados was always good, and they just went and made it so much better.
Gen 4 is when Gyarados really hit its stride.
I do say, we all know that it does have a massive problem, unfortunately.
Electricity.
The fact that, the designers hate it.
What?
Why is it water flying?
Because
Why? What does
there's
flying
nothing
give it?
because there's nothing to deal with it in Gen 1. It didn't have the
Yeah.
dragon typing.
Yeah, because Gen 1 Water Dragon would have been a night. Even the weaker Water Dragons like Kingdra are still nightmares.
Yeah,
Not
but
as
you can
mu-
change the typing. They've done it before.
No, at that point, no, they hadn't.
I mean, I
No,
wouldn't
now
mind.
they
I'll be
have.
honest.
Like, I'm talking about in the future. Like, it could be Water Dragon now, and it would be perfectly
Well, the
fine.
only thing they changed are the
If
ones
I-
that got
if I
Steel,
may interrupt-
Dark, or Fairy because they came in later.
But look, I don't so much mind it because with the flying typing, yes, it makes electricity a waking fucking nightmare. But it does give you a safe switch if you're up against a ground type because it's completely immune. On top of that, I just had a point on the top of my head and it completely left me there for a second.
Must
Yes.
not have been a good point.
Must not have been.
That's something to do with Intimidate, maybe?
Oh, Pseudo Dragon. It's one of the Pseudo Dragon Pokemon, which I would argue, especially now that it gets Dragon Dance, Lapras is also a member of that club.
I still disagree on
It
that.
also gets outraged too.
Let us know in the comments if you think Lapras should count as a dragon. I say no.
I think we
those
need
are
to.
just
I
like
think we need to make
dragons.
that. We need to make that its own video. We need to hold like a democratic selection of which ones we consider pseudo dragons.
Yeah, we'll have to set some time aside for that one. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that when we record our next Digimon video. Then I'll do two videos of that.
But Gyarados, I would argue, most certainly on that list.
That I won't disagree with.
And I guess Mega Gyarados does have the advantage that, you know, it does get mold breakers, so you can just spam Earthquake and everything.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't hate Mega.
That
Gyarados.
only works on
I'm just-
Levitate Pokemon.
Yeah,
That only works on Levitate Pokemon.
But yeah, I don't hate Mega Gyarados. I'm just upset that they went with Water Dark instead of Water Dragon.
I also just hate the
I mean-
design.
Delk, you had a point you
Yeah,
wanted to
'cause
make
it's
before.
going
What was
for
it?
I wouldn't mind it being a flying type so much if it actually learned some flying type moves it could use.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
the only ones it gets are Hurricane, which is its special attacker on a notoriously physical monster, so no points there,
Right.
and Bounce.
Which you have to carry over from Magikarp.
Well, that's
No,
not
no,
even
it's
the issue
a
with that.
Magikarp thing. It's a freaking move tutor thing you have to do.
Like, that's
Really?
not even the issue with that. It's a 2-turn move, which are not good usually.
Shows some-
So you either have a 2-turn move that you have to commit to, which admittedly can paralyze, so that's at least something. Or
Sure.
you have you have the very likely to miss Hurricane.
I was saying,
Shows how much
Another thing
you never
about it,
used
Bounce also has an imperfect accuracy too, so it could still miss even after the.
well, here's the thing: if you use Bounce and the other person has an Electric type, they just swap to the Electric type. They got a free swap. That Bounce isn't going to paralyze, and it's going to be resisted.
Doesn't
So
Bounce
Yeah,
have?
so
Does Bounce's chance to proc paralysis not go on electric types?
no, Electric types just can't be
I
paralyzed
think
anymore.
it can, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, we'll have to double-
It's changed over the years.
Editing me will check this and say yes or no right now. There we go. See, editing me took care of it.
Wow. How could I couldn't believe that was the answer. Truly, the internet is so wonderful.
Moving on.
You just want to move on because it's your turn, isn't it?
No, I just want to move on because I just
Delok, this was a segue. You ruined it.
I don't care.
So I will say one thing about Gyarados. In the Gen 3 run, we were, Nuzlocke, or not Nuzlocke, but the Gen 3 one we were doing, where I got stuck on,
Where you gave up.
yeah.
The one where
I
you
actually,
drown.
yeah, the one where I drowned. I did actually have a Gyarados with Hurricane and another Pokemon with Rain Dance, so I was just gonna start smacking people with perfect accuracy Hurricanes.
That's a lot of words after the fact for my liking.
Only problem is at that point you might as well just be using Pelipper.
We were supposed to segue to the next person. Go to the next person.
Yes, the next person is me.
No, it isn't. Shut up. Well, see, as we're on the topic of water monsters, water, water, water. How about we talk about Tentacruel for once?
Tentacruel.
All right,
Okay.
I'm okay with this.
This is honestly a Pokemon I consistently just see people like neglecting or just overshooting. And to an extent, I can see why. Like Zubat, Tentacool are just all over the place whenever you go surfing. They're practically pests in their own right. People just wanted just nothing to do with them. But Tentacruel has consistently just been a heavyweight carrier and a workhorse at every opportunity I've ever got to get him in, no matter the game. He just has not only a surprisingly amount of speed, but he's consistently bulky and just able to unleash a whole slew of nasty effects on your opponents to just always come out on top. Numerous poison opportunities, numerous coverage moves with like Ice Beam and Sludge Bomb, anti-health draining capabilities on the rare occasion you actually go up against grass type, so he's always a safe pick there. And you just have so many things you can just work with him on, even just confusing or just debuffing enemies with numerous like which poison was that? Acid spray, I think it was. Where you just
Probably.
consistently just weather down their special defense to make even some of your weaker attacks deadly to them, just over time if they're not careful. You are just gonna punch holes with this thing every single time.
I feel
And
like
also, not to mention it, it's also a monster. Like we oftentimes forget this is called pocket monsters. How about having some more monstrous things? Here's one right here. Go crazy.
a literal kraken. Yeah, I feel like Tentacruel catches a lot of flack for being, or I guess for its under-evolved form being a little too common. It's the same thing that Golbat tends to fall into. Like, despite being a
That's what I
decent,
said earlier.
yeah, like despite being a decent mon, it shows up so wearily often that most people are so tired of seeing it that they never bother to give it the time of day.
when you really should. As again,
Oh, yeah.
like it has enough of a diverse move pool to actually make it so you're never quite sure what it's going to bring to the table, and just be a debilitating nuisance every single time.
One thing it does absolutely bring to the table, though, is Tentacruel is a specially defensive sponge.
Yeah, and its special attack's not
And
bad
considering
either.
a lot of grass types love being specially offensive,
Mm-hmm.
And it's got 3 abilities, 2 of which I would say are good, one's okay. It's got Clear Body, so you can't drop its stats if it has that. It has
Yep.
Lucadoos, which is okay. That's fine. Which
again, anti-grass with like being very against like Giga Drain and Leech Seed,
and then you
where
got
you could actually weaponize it against your opponents.
and then you got Rain Dance for sustain, or Rain Dish rather. I'm sorry. So, and get that
You
up
can
in an
make this
Aqua
just
Ring
a
and
monster in
leftovers.
so many ways.
Yeah, it is a good Pokemon. Deluxe been singing its praises for years.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the thing: you don't even need to give it leftovers. Give it to someone else. Give it Black Sludge so nobody can mess with it without being hurt themselves.
Well, it depends.
Be more of a nuisance.
True, I forgot about Black Sludge.
Respect.
So you can't even
That's-
just steal its item away for your own benefit without having some own issues your own.
It's a sleeper good pick. I think it's a yeah. No one else probably thought of that.
Solid choice. Solid choice.
I also just like saying it's name funny. Tentacruel.
True, it
And
did get
it
that
is
one.
gonna be cruel.
It did get that one really cool episode that was basically like a Godzilla movie in the first.
Oh yeah.
So
With
that was fun.
With that nice, public service announcement that all the kids who watched that episodes have grown up and completely ignored.
What was it?
Don't pollute the fucking ocean.
Oh, I thought there was like an actual like public service announcement in the episode, not just kind of.
No. The episode itself was a PSA because it was a barrel of like radioactive chemicals that transformed that force evolved that Tentacool and made it grow to kaiju proportions in the first place.
True. Legendary. That was the first G-Max Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. And then it just proceeds to destroy a fucking city.
Yes. Don't pollute. It's bad.
Just,
Uh,
just don't be an ass. That's all you have to do.
So MJ, what are you gonna do about this giant polluting Tentacruel? What's your next pick to subdue it?
Well, it's a very watery Pokemon. It's got Tentacruel's got a lot of liquids on the inside, so I'm gonna suck those liquids out and leave the scraps for someone else with Kabutops.
Oh god.
All right.
Keeping the water
This
going.
is the 10-year-old cool Pokemon because he's got blades for hands.
And he also
does have
drinks
that.
the fluids of his victims.
Funnily enough, it also gets liquid. Sorry, not liquid. It gets Giga Drain and maybe Leech Life if I remember correctly. So good on you
I
for
think it's absorbed by
design.
now.
I believe later iterations get Leech Life. I think you're right.
It does get Leech
It
Life. Looking at it
does.
right now.
It also
So-
absorb as a level 1 move you can get.
Yep, that one I
It
know.
later gets Giga Drain too.
But
Tell us
yeah,
about
no,
Kabutops.
I absolutely love this dude. He's got the 2 sides for arms, and he's a fossil that was brought back to life. And I don't know, kind of cool. Like him and Kabuto, like I basically they're cool. It's just a big Kabuto with razor blades instead of attempting to attach to the back of someone's skull like a tip.
I
Uh,
I would be terrified if Horseshoe Crabs did turn into a Kabutops.
Yeah, no, I think everyone would because, oh man, horseshoe crab suddenly grows size. Wait, what?
Kabutops,
And on top of that, it's just, I don't know, I just like the design. It's a neat design.
it is a solid armored humanoid with size for hands, and it's possibly also a Genesect. That's a question mark. We don't have confirmation on that yet. Stats and
I
stuff
do like that theory though.
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the body shape's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But stats-wise, it's not too bad. It's lacking a little bit in speed, but it does get Split Swim as an ability. So you get the Rain Up, or you get Battle Armor, or Weak Armor, whichever one.
Yeah, this thing has been a staple on raid teams purely because of its massive, like its pretty good on attack stats and Swift Swim to just make it nearly impossible to outspeed, even if you're like a notorious electric user. This
Yeah,
thing
you
could
get
outspeed Jolteons and you just tumble over them.
And it gets Aqua Jet. Now that it has like Leech Life for sustain, that really helps it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, if you decide not to go with swimming, go with like battle armor, that peak completely counters things like Surfetched, whose entire thing is critical hits.
Well, not
I
completely,
mean,
but
yeah,
it does
but then
help.
they just leave blade to you and you die.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Rock Water is not the greatest type combo, but there's nothing you can do about that. There's got to be
it's
Pokemon.
Not, it's not a good. I will just stop right there because it's not a good defensive combo. It is an amazing offensive. There's not a lot that can just weather both rock and ground. It's like, well, yeah, ground too, but rock and water at the same time.
And
even
on
then,
top
it
of
can
that,
still
it
get
gets ice, it gets normal, it gets grass, it gets ground, it gets rock, flying, psychic,
Unfortunately,
dark,
it doesn't really get any ice physical,
fighting.
so that's a problem.
Yeah, unfortunately, but at the same time, it still gets the type coverage.
Not a bad Pokemon. It just needs a little bit more, I think.
I just like the concept of like you bring something back as a fossil. It puts me like it gives me a lot of Jurassic Park vibes personally. Like there's that one quote from right, but there's that one quote from Sam Neill in the first movie. It's like something like dinosaurs have been basically gone for 65 million years and they're suddenly thrown back into the mix with humans. How can we possibly have the slightest idea of what to expect? That is like my thought for these fossil Pokemon is like they live their lives, the world being one way, and then you just bring them back, and it's like, oh, we're supposed to be subservient to humans now?
Yeah, like, out of all the fossil Pokemon, even, like, some of the newer ones, this really makes you question if bringing them back was a good idea.
I began to wonder that with Sword and Shield, with those fucking abominations that they call fossil Pokemon in that game.
No, that is just science gone wrong. This is a question.
That is a conversation.
Right,
that is a conversation. That is a conversation. Jesus Christ, doesn't listen. Conversation for a later draft list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. Like where they are like, what has science done? Like we that was just like messed up, like horrible practices. Kabuto and Kabutops are a case of, well, we did do them right. They were as they were back then. But should we really have brought them back?
Yeah, Kabutops is the sort of thing that'll cut its way out of its paddock and then cut up everything else in the park before escaping into the ocean.
Assuming it doesn't liquefy anything on its way.
No, I'm sure it will. That Dex entry exists for a reason.
And even to this day, we don't know why it went extinct.
Probably for good reason.
Well, we don't know anything about the past, really. The first we got back is Hisui, and even that doesn't go that far back.
Not even close.
Yeah, it doesn't even do much there, but, you know, besides the point. Now I'm going to switch over to my next one, which is another water type.
Shocker.
Oh,
Water
God,
type.
keeping it going.
Yeah, he's got
There
3
you go.
waters on his list. We got a lot of waters already.
But, I feel like I'm going to steal this one's just going to steal from someone who really is the star of the show. Well, technically it's 2 stars. It's
Oh.
Remy.
Who?
Remy.
Yep, yeah, I get the joke.
It's literally just 2 stars.
Chris was trying to make a joke because he wasn't going to pick it.
The what?
Either way, I absolutely love the little dude. I want to cuddle it.
I can understand that.
The little one or the big one?
The purple one, the big one.
Starmie.
Yeah.
God damn it, Deadlock, pay attention. He said it like 3
Yeah,
times.
No, he said little dude,
Deadlock.
that's why.
He
said little dude, so I got confused.
I mean, they're not very big.
No, it's only like 3 foot. No, well, it's just about
Alright.
4 foot tall. It's pretty tall.
As far as sea stars go, that's pretty friggin' huge.
I don't remember them being that big. I
is
thought they were
kinda
like
big.
I thought they were like 2 feet.
No, it's the height.
Star U is. Star U's 2.7.
Yeah, it gets a
Yes.
whole extra foot when it evolves, and on top of that, it weighs nearly 200 pounds.
Well, there
Alright.
was that. There was that Pokemon card. I think it was actually one of the ones that was censored in the U.S., but it shows Misty hugging a Staryu, and it's pretty friggin' big.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I still thought Starmie would be around the same size. Apparently,
Nope,
I was
bigger.
wrong.
I also love how its sprite looks, you know, because in most of them, like the you either have like the back rotating on it in later generations, or it's kind of doing a wiggle wobble while it's doing the rotating in the background.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
It makes it feel like a very alive sprite compared to most other Pokemon.
I looked it
Yeah,
up.
it gives
It's
it-
3 feet, not 4 feet.
I mean, that's still pretty friggin' huge.
Actually,
Well,
yeah,
3.7, so about
It's
halfway there.
3.7, dude. It's just short of 4 feet.
Like, I'm sorry, if I'm underwater and I see that, I'm swimming the opposite direction.
What do you mean?
And
Well,
I
I
get...
said,
Yeah, and hoping that it does not decide to follow me.
well, man, you have a problem there. It's gonna just mind control you. 'Cause it's got psychic moves, remember?
Wow.
Actually, because the only animal I
None
know
of
that can...
which is the least of your concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only other animal I know that can actually do that in real life is a cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish are adorable.
Yeah, but they can actually change their colors to make themselves appear almost hypnotic to what they're trying to eat.
Hmm. Still adorable. Would
Oh, yeah.
10 out of 10.
Cuttlefish Starmie is not, though.
It is.
No.
It is an invertebrate of a
It
different
is
color.
literally known as the mysterious Pokemon, in fact. But I absolutely love it. Its abilities are exactly what I'd call great.
Yeah, Illuminate's not very helpful.
Illuminate is pretty garbage.
Natural Cure
Analytic is okay.
Analytic
is not
uh
good for it.
not good because
No.
it's got high speed, unfortunately, so kind of it's counterintuitive. And then Natural Cure is okay, but because it's so frail, it doesn't do much for it.
And if you're switching it out, that's just risking it, swapping into an attack that's gonna murder it.
Not
It is a
necessarily.
good.
Well, no, you're switching it out, so that's actually not bad for you.
But it-
Especially if you're in a disadvantage.
it's
position,
not-
But,
It's not a bad potential sweeper though, because it has a pretty
it is a
decent
great
move pool.
sweeper.
Huh?
It is a great sweeper.
Yeah,
Can
it's-
confirm. I've used it before.
and it
Yeah,
does.
I've used it plenty of times. It has so many moves that you can do. Not only does it have just like its normal diversive moves of like water and psychic, especially with Side Shock covering the physical offense if need be. It has ice and weirdly enough electric moves in its pool to actually make even some of the things it might have a bit of struggle with. No, it's not going to be that much of a problem. Also, grass, not just for good measure. Scald, if you really want to put more status effects onto the field. The classic of Confuse Rate and Rapid Spin to actually give it up hazards while making it even faster. This thing has a lot of things you can go with to actually just tool to how you need it to be.
Surprising.
It doesn't have the bulk for it, but it's gonna clean house if you let it.
Well, it could have the
On top of
bulk because
that,
it gets
it's
cosmic power.
Yeah, and on top of that, its Dex entry is also pretty cool. Just like, it's basically got a health bar on its front. Because the gem, glows and lights up depending on how it's doing.
Oh yeah.
Turns out it's knocked down.
Like the anime kind of played with that a little bit. Like whenever Misty's Staryu or Starmie was low on health, the front of it would blink like it was like running low on batteries.
Usually, it would use that light as a response thing, but yeah, it did do that every now and then.
And on top of that, it always sends transmission skyward, so it might be an alien.
Not unbelievable in the world of Pokemon, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have actual alien Pokemon of numerous occasions.
Yep.
What if Starmie is just a
Like a
normal?
fairy.
What if Starmie and Staryu are just normal sea stars infected with the Deoxys virus?
Very well could be.
I have no
very,
idea.
very well could be. Well, what do you have an
Also,
idea about? I was supposed to segue, but MJ had something else to add.
I was also going to say it's one of the few Pokemon that has gender unknown.
That list has grown over the years, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely grown over the years,
It's
especially
not
with the
a
numerous
large list.
machine-type Pokemon, like say Metagross, or even in this generation, Magneton and
But
Magnemite.
but if we're going back to Gen 1 or Gen 2, back when Pokemon gender actually became relevant, Starmie was one of the pioneers of that particular type of Pokemon.
That and Nidoqueen for some reason. I still don't quite get that one.
And it also does have a weird thing with that because it can learn Attraction Generation 2, which does nothing
Uh-huh.
because it has
Yeah,
no
the same
gender.
thing can be said for I think the same thing can be said for Metagross, which is still weird.
I know that Staryu, Starmie, and you get it.
Well,
Yeah, it's weird for Pokemon that can't use it to actually have it so for some reason.
Yeah, at least in Metagross's case, it's enough of a tank to where it can use Attract to maybe wrangle up some of the girls from Contact Collection.
I mean, maybe it needed to actually mingle in order to actually become Metagross in the first place.
Although maybe it
so
would
it
have
uses Attract by writing up its Tinder profile to include that it's 6 foot tall and happens to have a lot of extra money to spend.
I feel like we're getting off of Starmie now.
a little bit.
True.
Seeing as we're talking about ungender Pokemon, Magneton, because I mentioned him earlier.
All right, good pick because I do like this Pokemon. I would take Magnemite or Magneton, honestly.
And honestly, Magneton it's just more Magnemite. It's simple, but it easily explains why it's so much more powerful and sturdier when they can just band together, because literal magnets, and actually just become even more potent that way.
How do they work?
We don't know.
I mean, I have no idea how they work in a single Pokeball and how it just becomes an entirely new species. That's another matter for debate that's still going on, especially with now Mousehold now. It's like, where do you draw the line?
I was just making an ICP joke.
I know, so many questions. Honestly, he's just a good Pokemon, and honestly, in some ways, I even prefer him over his Gen 4 counterpart Magnezone, which feels like, yes, I like its more alien design, but just being a collective always just makes it look so much more appealing to me, as well as just being somehow faster than that tank to actually be a little bit more useful.
Mm-hmm.
This thing could just unleash so many devastating electrical attacks to actually make you question it, as well as having the occasional steel move to just block out any rocks that might just hamper it with the ground typing. But even still, you have some nice utility with the various screens it likes to use to just keep you and your team afloat. I don't know, it's just like a decent Pokemon you're always nice to have, whether it's early game, mid game, or if you really want to, bring it into the late game, because why not?
You also get Fry Attack.
I don't know what it is, but I kind of
Fire Attack is
find
such a weird move also.
I kind of find Magneton cute in a way, and I think it's because it's so simple, and in some of the games it does kind of express happiness just by changing the
and anger.
yeah, just by changing the adding a line on
shape
its
of its
eye. Yeah, so it's kind of cute in that way because it's so simple. But there's also one Dex entry that I always think about when I think about Magneton because it's really funny. I'll read. It's from Pokemon Sun. When 3 Magnemite link together, their brains also become one. They do not become 3 times more intelligent. And I was just like, all right. First of all, that's a little rude, but that's really funny. It's like, yeah, you would think their 3 brains would be linked, so they would become 3 times more intelligent. That's just not the case.
No, it's just 3 minds working in tandem.
Well, hold on, because I think it would have to make that distinction, because throwing back to Metagross, doesn't it specifically say in Metang and Metagross's entries that is what happens, that their cognitive abilities compound when they evolve?
Into a supercomputer intelligence, yes.
Exactly.
But it just might not work with, it might just not work with different species. In that case, they are literally fusing together into one, body, whereas, Magneton, they're more
they're
a
conjoined.
Consciousness now is just shared with each other.
Yeah,
it's a what is it? A hive mind.
Yeah, kind
Something
of
like that.
It's like a collective, but also not. It's weird.
Whereas, with Metagross, it's you are literally putting the parts together into one big machine.
I like Magneton. Simple design,
Yeah, but
simple
Magneton
purpose.
is always just good. It's one of the earlier examples of a fusion Pokemon, which honestly they don't really explore that much anymore these days.
As if I don't take
It's weird
Jolteon,
that they
I will
explored it
usually
the most
take.
in the first generation.
If I don't take Jolteon, I'll usually take Magneton.
Yeah, especially in the early games and their remakes where Steel type was still overpowered.
Yeah, it just makes it resistant to so many attacks, so you have so many opportunities to switch it in safely.
And it being bulky is really good. Plus, in later games, you can give it an Eolite.
Which just brings its bulk power to surpass Magnezone even further.
Again, nice pick, Chris.
Well, we're about halfway through, and I'm starting to get a little tired, but not nearly as tired as the next entry on my
Son
list.
of a bitch.
Because I'm gonna go with Snorlax.
God damn it, that's it.
Another good workhorse.
So
workhorse.
I was like, oh, I'll probably pick him on the next rotation, but god damn it.
Yep, he is the workhorse, the sleepy blocker of paths, the OG fat boy. He is Snorlax. Bow and call him king, because that is exactly what this fucking thing is.
He is the original absolute unit of a Pokemon.
Yeah, yes, bar none. This thing hits like a freight train and is about twice as heavy. I think its original move pool was okay, but even then, getting stabbed normal on things like strength and body slam, and in later generations, Giga Impact, it's fucking done. There's very little that can tank a hit from a Snorlax, barring actual type resistance or items helping it to do so. That I believe it was our Sinnoh MMO. I really appreciated when my Snorlax came out and Deadlock just shit a brick because I had never told y'all that I had one.
I mean, I already got enough trouble with it with Docs when I had literally had to sneak out a freaking Destiny Bond kill to win it.
And
Still
that's
mad
and that's
about
another cool thing that is in later generations is belly drum as well. So you use that, you maximize your attack, and you resto chesto one time. Now you are not just an absolute unit; you are the absolute unit, and nothing is standing in your way.
This thing is so durable. It's more durable than it has any right to be.
Even doubly so if it gets thick fat.
Yeah, like this thing is a fat monster in every sense of the word. You should be terrified if this ever graces them, and you do not have an answer ready for it.
And that's one of the things I love the most. Like, this thing is, for all intents and purposes, just a merciless, relentless, horrifying monster. And it just looks so derpy and cute, and all it wants to do is sleep.
I mean, honestly, you know it gets angry because think of its Z move back in that it got pulverizing pancake. He was pissed to be awake.
And that's how it feels every time you send a Snorlax out in combat. It's not so much fighting its opponent out of any sense of like malice or because its trainer tells it to. It just wants to go back
to sleep.
Yeah, it just wants to go back to sleep, and pulverizing this particularly annoying snooze button is the best way to do it.
And if anyone's ever like kept up with any competitive news, this thing basically defined Gen 2 metagame. Like if you either had it or you lost. It was as simple as that.
I was not on the competitive scene back then, but I very much believe.
I was not either, but like they still have like competitive scene for it just a little bit even out to this day. And no matter what team you run, if you do not have a Snorlax, you basically are just throwing.
Back in Gen 2,
it was that good.
The best I ever did with Gen 2 back then was I was too busy trying to exploit the PC box duplication glitch.
I'm mad you took the pick, but I knew someone was gonna take it because it's Snorlax. Like,
I love
pretty
Snorlax.
adorable.
Yeah, I love Snorlax.
It's adorable and terrifying.
Yeah, like it's good. It's good. I can't even deny it.
If you
like
do
no
not
one can deny
respect
it.
You will be run over.
Yeah, at least back then, before Munchlax was a thing, it stood right up there with Lapras as one of those single form Pokemon where as soon as you saw it, you kind of tensed up because you knew it wasn't going to be an easy win.
All right, now I gotta think a little bit. Well, I know one of the picks I'm gonna go with. I was kind of keeping this in the back, but I gotta go with my boy Jim. It's time for Butterfree.
Goodbye, Butterfree.
I would have been amazed if you didn't.
Who are we talking about?
Been as well.
Shut up, hater. You don't know. Jim the Butterfree is a legend among us. He is a Nuzlocke champion. He gets you to the champion, and then he dies. He's just the path to get you there. He will never survive though. It's about the journey for Jim. But Butterfree,
You get a better guy.
He's basically Charlotte in Charlotte's Web. He'll get you to the fair, like to the final round of the fair. It just won't be able to see you win.
he is
a tragic history this thing has.
He's the wingman to all wingmen. He will.
It's funny because he's half flying type.
True. But Butterfree is kind of. It's never like the best Pokemon, realistically speaking, but
especially given its early stat pool, which makes it middling the further you get on.
But are you ever upset to see a Butterfree? Like, he's just so well designed. Like, it is clearly a butterfly. Like,
if anything, you're happy to see it because there's that one bug catcher in Fire Red Leaf Green that has one, and it gives you a shit ton of experience. You're really happy to see that.
Early on, it's pretty good. Abilities are not too bad. Compound Eyes and Tinted Lens are both decent. Which especially for Butterfree, given that his bug flying is pretty bad. Offensively, it's not too bad. Defensively, it's terrible, but could be better. And its move pool is actually.
Wait, you did not just discount Compound Eyes.
What? No, I didn't.
Deadlock. Not everybody mains Galvantula like you.
Deadlock just doesn't.
No, because like it. Because the thing is that Compound Eyes is what makes this thing an actual terror, even like when you get past it, because it has so many debilitating status effects in the forms of various powders, and Compound Eyes just makes them so much more accurate and lethal to always just be a nuisance whenever you face it.
Yeah, it has a pretty
you
good.
You would not escape in its wrath.
It's got a bunch of different like setup. Well, not a bunch of different setup, but it's got a lot of different status moves. But Quiver Dance, good for setup. Especially for it, buffs special defense, buffs speed, buffs special attack, which is pretty much exactly what it wants. gets Tailwind, so you can set that up for you. Gets Rage Powder if you're doing doubles competitive, although you probably do some, like a Moongus or something.
Yeah, you can have one rage powder on this thing.
But you can still get Sleep Power, or Stun Spore, and Poison Powder. Of course, you have...
And of course, unlike other users, it gets the boost with Compound Eye, so they're not missing easily.
And it gets both Sunny Day and Rain Dance, so if you need to fit it on a team for some reason, there you go. You have that as options. And it has decent move. It has a decent move pool, because it gets a bunch of Psychic moves, including Psychic. It can get Shadow Ball, Giga Drain. So it's not the most diverse move pool, but you have plenty of options for something that you can catch pretty early in most games.
Yeah, you have enough options to where if you send out a Butterfree against another player, they actually do have to take a step back and consider what moveset you could possibly be rocking.
And honestly, even with like its base speed set of 70, like it can still outspeed a lot of the competition and really make them question, especially if they were foolish enough to just set up on you, because it's a Butterfree. It's not going to do much. Big mistake.
Well, also, if you take advantage of a type advantage and force your enemy to swap out as you're coming in, then you could set up one Quiver Dance, and now what's going to stop you?
A lot still. One Quiver Dance isn't a whole lot, but it helps.
And I know you were talking about doubles earlier. It also got the move Pollen Puffs, where you can actually just be healing your allies as a utility option if you really need to.
Oh, it carried that over from the Cutie Fly line?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
it eventually became a TM move, and it picked it up as a move.
Quite a few Pokemon get it now, but it is very good, and it is one of the few Pokemon that got a G-Max. I guess Beedrill got the Mega, so Butterfree gets the G-Max.
Mm-hmm. It also gets its Dimorphism and
just become Mothra.
Man, I didn't even bring up the fact that Lapras got G-Max too. That's how good that thing was. But
and then Butterfree gets its Dimorphism with its wing pattern.
I kind of do wish a little bit that I got like what Vivian gets, but I'm fine with it. I like the pattern it's got.
Well, I meant males have the black spots on the wings, females don't.
Plus, this thing also breaks my heart a little bit thinking back of that Bye Bye Butterfree episode, so...
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And I've made everyone that has emotions sad.
A little bit.
So I got the nostalgia factor with that one. Pulling at the heartstrings. I think that was a good... I mean, everyone here probably knew I was going to pick Butterfree, but... And anyone that's actually watched our stuff... Butterfree hits home. Butterfree hits home.
Yeah, I would have made you turn in your gym card if you didn't pick Butterfree.
Well, I was debating on it for a while, but you know what? I had to go with it. Jim's always a homie. But going away from Jim, and you know what? I don't know about you guys. I've been streaming. And I add some new redeems where I do some exercises. You know what? I should start hitting the gym. I think I might see this guy there. He's always throwing punches at the sandbag. I'm going with Hitmonchan.
Yep.
Nice.
I am an appreciator of Hitmonchan. Everyone here, again, probably should know that I love Hitmonchan. He's always on my team in the later games, because early on, until that physical special split, he was pretty garbage. But once that physical special split happened, it was off to the ring. I would have said the races, but the ring with him. Dude was punching everything. Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Bullet Punch, Mac Punch, Drain Punch. Close combat. He's throwing hands with everyone and everything possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall correctly, he also gets Iron Fist as an ability to actually
he does.
punch extra much.
Oh yeah, like once Gen 3 Iron Fist was nice, but once that physical special split, the combination of the two was very good. And he's honestly the easier of the 3 evolutions from Tygrow you get, so if you're trying to get him, he's probably the easiest. Well, tied for the easiest. Honestly, him and Hitmonlee could be equally easy or difficult. It depends on what nature you get.
Mm-hmm.
And his attack stat's pretty good. I would say it's good, not the best. 105 is pretty decent. And then speed's not great, but he does also get rapid spin. So in modern day, with the speed boost that gives now, you can get his speed up there pretty quickly. He also gets
if you do egg moves, you can also put Fake Out on it.
Not even. He gets it by level up.
No, it's a level 1 move now for him.
Yes.
Really? That's okay. I actually haven't used the Hitmonchan in forever. I wasn't aware of that.
Not only that, he gets both both Sunny Day and Rain Dance, so you got another setup. Honestly, you don't even need to do Rapid Spin. He gets Trailblaze, so that's the grass type Flame Charge, so you have that now too. He has so many options.
Because I heard he was likely for coverage.
Oh yeah, he gets Poison Jab too. He's got Rock Slide. He's got Bulldoze. He's if you want options on a fighting type, this dude will not do you wrong. And you know what? If you argue with him, as I say, if you argue with him, he'll knock you the fuck out.
No, it also helps that he's actually not decently frail in defense department. So even if you get wounded, you could just Iron Fist Drain Punch something to get health back and stay in the fight.
Yeah, he knows how to stay in. He's.
Oh, and I'm sorry. And if he was still too weak, even for whatever you were going after, that's fine. He also has Power Up Punch to really just ramp up the fight as it goes.
He's
just got a lot of work to.
Hitmonchan's definitely one of those Gen 1 Pokemon that came out, that came out in Gen 1, he wasn't great, but he spikes over the years. The longer he stays in the series, the more powerful he gets.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
until they pull a Jolteon and got him.
Hey. I'm just saying, give me Signal Beam back. Why'd you gotta throw shade at me like that? Huh? Why'd you gotta do that? Chris, do you mind sending something out to put Deadlock in his place, please?
Well, I can at the very least meet you halfway and keep you on edge, because my number 4 pick is Hitmonlee.
Hey, we're doing some practicing later, you and I.
Personal favorite of the 3.
So similar in many ways to Hitmonchan, albeit not quite with the amount of type coverage that the boxer has. Hitmonlee is a little better, or I don't want to say better, but takes the cake in my opinion. A, because its native ability Limber keeps it from being paralyzed, which is always good for fighting types. And B, its hidden ability, Unburden, makes it to where if its battle item is used, its speed, I think it's either a 1.5 or just a straight up double. So back when normal gems were a thing, like you open the fight with Fake Out, now suddenly Hitmonlee, who I believe has the higher attack stat of all 3 of them, is now pretty much the quickest thing on the field, and he's coming at you with High Jump Kick, Blaze Kick. He can also learn Bullet Punch, and has a couple other of the coverage moves that Hitmonchan boasts. I think most of them you have to have bread on, but that, and it's almost like that, like, I don't want to call it Uncanny Valley, because it certainly doesn't look entirely humanoid in appearance, but I like the fact that it basically has like little spring-loaded bungees for legs. Like it's got these twiggy little 3-finger arms up top, and then just these demolishers that it walks on. So
I think they actually do stretch out in some iterations.
Oh, they do. I think a lot of the moves that it does in Pokemon Stadiums 1 and 2, it actually like extends its legs up, like, or raises its body up on them like it's friggin' Inspector Gadget before striking the pose and telegraphing the move.
Go check out my videos to see.
Normal Gem is still around, so you can still do that.
Yeah. It's the other gems that aren't in.
Yeah, they only got rid of the type gems, like fighting type, for example.
But you are
So
correct.
Unburden, Fake Out, Normal Gem, Hitmonlee, still viable, still devastating.
And you were right. Hitmonlee does have a bit more attack, 15 more points in it, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And a bit more
that just
speed
means
too,
that it's just
so
the better
it's
one.
That's not quite how that works.
I will say, when it comes to fighting Bruno, Hitmonlee is usually his scariest Pokemon.
Usually Bruno's the easiest
They
for me.
can easily just roll you over if you're not careful.
Yeah, I usually don't have a problem with Bruno, but Hitmonlee is not to be underestimated. I used it, and again, if they remember, Hitmonlee, I used it for our Kanto run, High Jump Kick. Oof, that hurts.
High risk, high reward for sure.
And that's basically Hitmonlee in a nutshell. It's more glass cannony than its hip on counterparts, but it makes use of that and just blitzing through whatever it needs to. It's a wall breaker in every sense.
Not to mention,
I would argue the three best moves it has, that being High Jump Kick, Stone Edge, and Blaze Kick, none of them are perfect accuracy, so you're kind of playing the risk game whenever you send Hitmonlee out into the field.
it also I didn't mention this in mine, but both of them also get Swords Dance. So if you want to make that attack stat even more insane, there you go.
Jeez.
So Delock, talk your shit. What are you gonna do to the two Hitmons?
I don't have to worry much because you won't be able to touch this one with Gengar.
I hate you. I immediately
Honestly, even when
dismiss
it
your
comes-
list.
Oh, why? Why? Because Gengar?
You
hated it just because when he did to your Snorlax?
I hate Gengar in general, this overhyped piece of shit.
Gengar's so great.
I can understand. Honestly, he's just the most iconic ghost type when it comes to like all of Pokemon. Like even to this day, like where you can just see like, okay, this thing's from this thing's from that. Gengar's still unique even to this day with that very dark silhouette and that Cheshire Cat smile to always just be unnerving, no matter when you're fighting him. And even then, this thing is still terrifying, even in competitive, no matter what. It is one of the fastest Pokemon, despite not even being an electric type. And its ghost typing, even when it had Levitate around, made it immune to so many types to where it was hard to even get a pin on it unless you had Pursuit. And as Doc has been on the receiving end of, this thing has a whole slew of nasty tricks too. Not only just the usual like status effects like Confuse Ray or maybe even, I'm pretty sure it gets underway, right? Or in the very least Toxic.
I believe it gets underway.
Destiny Bond can always make you question whether you should even be hitting it or not. And that's a scary thing to always having to be bouncing around. And it's not like you could just rest on your laurels with this thing too. Like Will-O-Wisp is also another option that's famous for ghost types to be using, as well as its monstrous special attacks that to just blow holes into your team if you're not careful.
And it gets nasty.
This thing is just always a workhorse.
I'm
sorry, you were saying?
I was saying it gets nasty plot too, and yes, it does get Thunder Wave.
Like, you always have to be on your toes when this thing shows up, and you have to address it quickly and carefully.
Apparently it gets Toxic Spikes. I don't remember when it got that.
Also,
I will say, like, it has the most underwhelming.
Its Mega Form was so busted that they banned it.
Yeah, because it had the depth. Because while it may have lost Levitate, it got Shadow Tag instead, which prevents you from leaving.
Yeah,
that's a scary thing in its own right.
Yep. Yeah. Combine that with Perish Song, and you are screwed, my dude.
Yeah, you can't.
You don't even need Perish Song too, because you could just send it out whenever, and then your opponent is stuck with you while you just mop the floor with it.
Yeah,
it's the same problem it has with Pursuits on its own end. It just turns it on its head.
Yeah, without looking it up, tell me what you think its special attack is in Mega Form.
160.
Yeah, I know it breaks 150 for sure.
130, I think, in its base form.
It's 170.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing. Mega Forms pump out already powerful Pokemon and make them into absolute Goliaths of carnage.
Yeah, I don't care how high your special defense is, that's punching through.
Yeah, that's doing some damage.
And while we're on the subject of Mega, the normal Gengar has such one of the most underwhelming shinies.
Damn, I was going to use this as a point against it.
One category that everyone hates.
I was going to
shiny that's nothing.
Yeah, I was going to throw this in your face, saying that its base form shiny is so bad because it just turns into a more like bluish purple kind of color. It's barely noticeable.
But you also brought up its Mega, and I will also add into it its Gigantamax, which actually turns it into like a sheet white ghost that really makes it unnerving. In some ways, kind of reminds me of Zero from Kirby.
And one little other, kind of a trivia note here. We only just have now gotten the next Pokemon that shares the same typing of it. It has been...
Yeah, this thing has been like, what, the only ghost poison for so long, which is honestly impressive.
In case you're curious, the Pokemon that shares the typing is Pecharunt. The mythical from the DLC.
Yeah, a legendary had to take the typing.
And Gengar is better than it, by far.
It is just so monstrous in its debut. Like, it only would have been powerful if they didn't bugger on the programming, because once that actually got ironed out, psychic types were always fearful of this thing. Even if they got the advantage on it on occasion, it still just mopped the floor with so much.
Thank God for dark types.
Yeah, Gengar is that Uno reverse card that'll like bully other Pokemon, take their lunch money, and then use it to go and buy itself a tooth cleaning.
Well, he's got the pearly whites. He clearly has a
and
good
it is
dental
mocking
insurance.
you with that grin while it does it with those pearly whites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm mad about it, but I can't disrespect it too much because it is Gengar, and I can't deny, unfortunately, that Gengar is a good Pokemon.
It's disgustingly good.
Well, MJ, since I want this out of my mind, please go with your next pick.
All right, so my next Pokemon is Gengar. Um, no, my next one is actually Scyther.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You said this
Respect.
before we were starting, and I completely forgot you said it.
Yeah, no, I like Scyther. I like the bug with two, sides for arms kind of look. Of course, it does have some
Coming from the
faults
guy who
because,
picked Kabutops.
Yes. I wonder if there's a pattern here. Have
I've-
you spotted Deadlock?
Yeah, I spot the pattern. MJ likes all the ones that are famous among the 10-year-olds.
Yes, because I'm still in touch with my inner child.
Yeah,
Thank
he's
you
got
for noticing.
Yeah, he's got the turtle with the cannons. He's got the thing with the size. He's got Starmie, which I don't know where that relates, and then he's got Kabutops.
It's
Just wait till he
it's
picks
just adorable.
Charizard.
But
Well-
Scyther is one of my favorite Pokemon. It became my favorite in Gen 2 when you could evolve it to Scizor. Scissor's cool. I
Say
think it's
that.
I think its evolution to Cleavor is dumb. I hate Cleavor. I hate the way it looks. It's just a downgrade
Weak.
in every way.
Wrong, but it's okay.
But no, I absolutely love it. It's got, it may not be the best typing because bug flying is questionable.
Rock
It's-
fodder.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But unfortunately, that just comes from Bug's bad defensive
Well, which
typing.
even then though, it only has 2 more weaknesses compared to 3 resistances and 1 immunity because it's immune to ground types. It's resistance to fighting, bug, and
Which is
grass.
always useful.
It's weak to flying, rock, fire, electric, and ice, which are some of the bigger, more generalized types. But it's got normal damage from everything else. So, well, it's but the problem is of course its HP and defense stats aren't great. Special attack is kind of garbage, but that doesn't matter because it's got 105 speed and 110 attack. So against most other Pokemon, it's going to be going first, and it's gonna hurt.
And let's be honest, even if you were liking for defenses and wanting, you could just slap an EVO light on it and fix that problem.
Well, I
Mhm.
don't think that really saves it because of the poor defensive typing,
It
but
doesn't
it does
save
help.
it, but it helps it out.
Yeah.
Like, this is a
Also-
Pokemon with 500 stats getting EVO light boost. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Also, Technician makes its normally non-hitting moves just devastating, like Bug Bite and Aerial Ace.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention that it just has some pretty good moves. It's got X Slash, along with some other good type coverage just to help cover its weaknesses.
And that's what I was saying. If you have Technician, Bug Bite is actually stronger than X Scissor.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, you also have Thieves, which actually gets boosted to actual problematic levels. And as you learned in our MMO run, Pursuit with Technician is also just even if you don't get like the Pursuit boost, doesn't matter. You're still getting a boost from Technician, so it's still viable in its own way.
And he gets Trailblaze, so he gets that speed boost again, which is, I mean, it's already got good speed, but to get a grass type attack and the speed boost out of it with the Technician boost, because it's only 50 power.
And I think it also gets the Technician boost with newly added dual wing beat as well.
I believe so. So you'd also get stab off that.
It does at least get there's one advantage it has to actually having a little bit of a frailness. If it can survive the hit, it's most likely going to be below half HP no matter what. Which means if you have Swarm, 50% bonus to any bug move.
Also true.
I think so. Oh, all right.
X Scissor goes up to a 120 power move with 100% accuracy.
And at that point, it's definitely beating Technician Bug Bite.
It's a bit hard to work with, but it is possibility.
Yeah, no, you have to obviously survive that first hit, but if you can, you've usually done some pretty good damage. Maybe you've even possibly knocked out the opposing Pokemon after it hit you if you went second somehow. But if you get it off, Bug Buzz, you got your low special, but it's still an extra 45 power onto that before before stab, because that's the big thing. It's before stab. Lunge, 80 power, going up to 120 before stab, 100% accuracy, or bug bite, or other things. Like it makes it a very scary Pokemon if it can actually get the attack off on that low HP.
And one of the coolest things about Scyther, I think, is because of the way its arms are shaped, there is no before stab. It's just all stab.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
And
More cut, but yeah.
and even better, like if you have steadfast, it's not the best ability on it, but if something
You
does
can
flinch
learn
you,
fake out users.
you lure in a fake out user, you survive, you get flinched. Oh great, you've just given me a speed boost. Now I'm, definitely going faster than whatever you have.
I think we've gotten.
It's just a gritty. It's just got a good move pool. It's got some good abilities, not the best. I do think that it should have the sharpness ability. That would probably be like
Unfortunately.
really fitting.
It's
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll concede to that.
Yeah. Even
Well-
if it doesn't, might not have the move pool to support it, but
And on top of that, I think Chris can like it because it's meant to be like a ninja. It moves really quickly, and it takes out its opponents with one quick slice.
It was actually one of the many on my list before you said it.
I was to
I'm
say more
sorry
like
that I stole
more like a
it.
samurai, but I can see where you're coming from. That being said, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But before we get to our final round of this draft, here are some honorable mentions that just didn't quite make the draft. And now that we're back from our honorable mentions, MJ, let's see what your last childish pick will be.
My last child's pick, man. Why do you gotta say it like that? It's almost like you got some hater energy going on.
I have a feeling
or
I
just
know what you're gonna.
predictability.
I have a
I think
feeling I
that
know what
he
you're gonna
just got.
pick.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll let you guess.
I will tell you if I'm right or wrong. Go ahead. I don't want to delay
No.
this.
I want to hear your guess. No, none of this.
All right.
Throw
All right.
your guess out there. You
It's-
say you got it.
I feel like it's one of two things.
Okay.
Well, actually, one of three. I feel like
Okay.
it's either gonna be. My first guess was Mewtwo. My second guess was Charizard. My third is Seal.
No, none of them.
I'm surprised.
It is Cloyster.
Motherfucker.
I-
It was not on my list, but I got an idea of why it's on yours.
I just I absolutely love it.
It's just cool.
Besides coming from the absolutely adorable Shelder, who I just want to cuddle and protect and like hug. Shelder needs more love.
It does. I agree.
Cloyster, I just absolutely love it. I love the design that it has. I absolutely love that it's one of the. It's got some great abilities on it. With like shell armor. So oh hey, I can't be criticaled. Think that.
Skill link too.
Yeah, Skill Link is
Yeah,
our
skill link for just yes, I hit you 5 times. Combine that with the King's Rock because I think one of those moves does cause flinch.
Yes.
Stop having you just straight up don't get actions. Go away.
Yeah,
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200.
Because King's Rock makes it to where every one of those guaranteed 5 hits has the chance to flinch.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it gets Shell Smash, which is
It does,
one of the...
yeah. So, yeah, if you can use Shell
If you can get a single turn to set that up.
Yeah, if you can
Nope.
survive...
Game over.
Yeah, if you can survive a hit after Shell Smashing once, you're outspeeding everything and nothing is going to be able to hit you.
Especially when it doesn't even matter
someone
if they
like
have...
a stall team, you can use Overcoat.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The thing is, even if
ignore
you do...
Sandstorm and stuff.
That, true, but at the same time, going back to like with Steel Link and stuff, like the thing about it is that because they're all multi-hit moves, it doesn't matter if your opponent has Sturdy or freaking Focus Sash. It just gets repeated hits and breaks through it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely wonderful and fun to play against, isn't it, guys?
Like it. It's actually one of my favorites, but I like a lot of the Gen 1 Pokemon, so it's not saying much.
I don't really think there's anyone that really hates a lot of the Gen 1 Pokemon.
I'm sure there are those that do, but they're, wrong.
I will also say that at least it actually has one of the better 3D models.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, it has one of the highest base defenses. Like, it might not have the best typing of, water ice, which, not the greatest typing. It's weak to a lot of the general things.
Again, still good offensive typing.
Honestly,
it's a great offensive typing on top of 180 base defense.
Honestly, even defensively, it's not bad. Lapras shares the same typing, and it's still a pretty good tank.
Yeah. The only downside, obviously, is it's got special defense weakness of 4. It's got only 45 special defense.
Yeah, so pretty much
180 defense with 95 attack.
That's a wall.
Yeah, but nobody's perfect.
Yeah, no, you can't have the perfect Pokemon, sadly, and, luckily there are no Pokemon that have perfectly great stats across the board that are, invalidate every other choice in the competitive scene. Nope, not at all.
We never said Pokemon was for the best at balancing, but hey, when you got 1,000+ creatures, it's hard to do.
But it's got lots of, moves. It can set up itself to actually protect itself a little bit with Light Screen. Giving itself a little bit of,
a little bit of a buff.
It'll double it, so it'll bring it up from, 45, I think it is.
Yeah, 45.
80.
90.
That's
the
doubling. 90. So that actually makes
either.
I mean, 90 special defense on something is not terrible.
No,
Especially when it's
but it's
stats
not worth
already.
devoting an entire move to, in my opinion.
No, that's why you have someone else set up for you, and then you laugh.
Deluxe shit opinions aside.
But it's also got Mud Shot for great accuracy drops. It's got a Steel move, Smart Strike.
That's not bad, actually.
Which, if I remember correctly, is just an auto hit move.
I don't remember, but you might be right. I know it's like a 70 power.
I think
it bypasses accuracy checks and always hits unless they are in Dig or Fly.
Then yes.
So it's just a 70 power auto hit. With the Steel typing, that gives you some maneuvers to play around.
It does.
It's got Poison Jab, Toxic Spikes, Liquidation if you really hate your opponent, Ice Spinner. Hell, if you really hate your opponent, throw in Giga Impact there.
Why Giga Impact when you can just Hydro Pump?
Yeah, you could do that, though the downside there is that you're not exactly super...
Yeah.
I think it has a little bit lower of a special attack. Yeah, it's 10 points down, it's not terrible.
It's 95 attack versus 85 special.
It's
you can honestly go either way.
Yeah, it's pretty negligible.
Yeah, it's pretty negligible. I just like throwing in Giga Impact there because it's kind of funny to just hit them with a 150, yes, I smack you in the face.
It's the same reason that you carve monster tails in the middle of a fight.
Yes, it's the disrespect. And of course, the ever classic Ice Beam, if you really want to wish your opponent never gets to play. But, with that, I will pass it on to Deadlock. What is your final pick, mister?
Oh, for once someone else did the transition.
Choices. At this point,
God damn it, Deluxe, you've done this bit too many times.
I know, but I'm literally down to the choices because I could go with my first shiny ever. I could go with Old Reliable, or I could just go with Victory Bell.
Is that your pick?
If you did catch it, I'm going with Victory Bell.
Okay, I wasn't. I felt like it, but I wasn't too sure. Okay.
Honestly, grass types are usually not my forte, unless you're talking about one of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, but we're not here for that.
That's a
One
later
of the
list.
problems with Gen 4 is that, the first generation, is that a lot of them are just tagged on with the freaking poison typing, and with like one exception. But Victory Bell just always was the most interesting of a lot of the grass types, even to this day to me. It's one of the more like underutilized plant types that you would not think of to actually use, and it really uses it to good effect with just giving it this like, I'm going to be in danger if I am near this thing. I do not want to be near this thing. My enemies could be near it for me instead. And yeah, he is an actual monster. You can honestly take him in any direction you want because he has a decent freaking speed pool while having equal offenses. So no matter whether you're being hit by physical or special, it's still going to hurt with like its plus 100 stats in either pool. Personally, one of my favorite sets to do with him is a Sunny Day set, which, like Chris did with his Ninetales, where you can just tag it along with those guys. You can even give this thing fire moves with Weather Ball while still spewing out Sunny Day, a freaking solar beams. And even just like, because like you're always using those moves, hey, guess what? He gets chlorophyll too. So like with the rain teams, he could just speed up to ridiculous speeds and just start sweeping everything. You can do a lot of work with this guy, and I love him for that. And honestly, I'm just kind of sad with how my Nuzlocke went, where he as a little baby Bellsprout was just so close to being the winning underdog that I really just want to give this guy another chance in some run of form.
That
And
Bellsprout was tragic.
unfortunately, unlike his counterpart, Vileplume, he's surprisingly scarce, and it really saddens me because, as I said earlier, he's just one of the most unique grass types out there. I just want to see more of him come back.
That Bellsprout was an underdog, and people were rooting for him. By that, I mean the one guy in the comments, and me, and Chris in the video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of the two that I feel you're given the choice of in those two games, that being the Bellsprout line and the Oddish line, I personally really prefer the Bellsprout line. It's more geared towards attacking, which I'm a bigger fan of, and frankly, I appreciate the design a little more.
Y'all sleep on
They're both geared
Vileplume.
for attacking is the thing.
Yeah,
Now,
y'all
But
just...
like Vileplume is more with status ailments.
I am not saying by any means that I dislike Vileplume or Bellossum's designs. All I'm saying is I like Victory Bells a little more.
I just think y'all sleep on Vileplume.
I
don't sleep on Vileplume. Personally, Gloom is why I'm not big into that line, but I'm sorry, but like Victory Bell is just like this my favorite grass type out of this entire generation, and even in a few generations to come.
I can sort of agree. Grass types are usually lower on my list. Usually.
On top of that, I really gotta. I'm really happy that what happened to Victory Bell and Johto, the anime that is,
I do not
where he
remember.
where it fell in love.
I don't. Talk about with James?
I actually don't remember this one.
Yeah, James has fell in love. Remember?
With who? With what? I don't remember this.
With another one.
Yeah, clearly none of us remember this.
Yeah,
Wow.
that doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, no, it literally happened. James's second Victory Bell got thrown out of the party because it attacked Jesse one too many times, and it landed near another one and fell in love instantly.
I'll have to look this up and verify.
I just posted a picture of it.
Honestly, Victory's Bell's gag in the anime grew old after a while, as do some of those. I just like Victory Bell because, again, he's a monstrous design that you're never too safe around.
I feel like Victory Bell's the Victory Bell gag in the anime served less of like what an asshole James's Victory Bell was, but more of what a decent person James was.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that gag also persisted in every gen with a different Pokemon. So, which I mean, it's fine. Everyone likes James.
But what happened in the show basically is after Jesse kicked it out, at the same time, the Magikarp salesman kicks James versus Victory Bell away, which led to the two colliding and skipping off into the forest together as they fell in love.
All right then.
Mm-hmm.
The anime's weird. Let's be honest.
It follows its own rules, but Chris, let's follow our own rules. By that I mean you, because it's your turn now.
Indeed, and I'm going to follow it up with my personal grass type pick from Gen 1, that being Exeggutor.
Hey, what about Daddy?
It was one of the things. I'm surprised you didn't pick Nidoking. I'll be real with you.
Nidoking was on my list, but I'm looking at the types I've already presented, and I figured, you know what, grass type could do a little bit, and I haven't done a psychic type either. And Exeggutor is really one of the best of both in Gen 1. And it's also one of the ones that I've used on our competitive teams that has made Zach want to rip his hair out. Zach, you remember Facepalm, don't you?
I have learned ways to deal with it. Thank you, Espeon.
Yeah, but you remember the good old days of Harvest Exeggutor, just...
Listen, back in the days when everything was available, it was hard to plan for everything. But, oh, it was a nightmare to deal with when you weren't ready.
But yeah, I love the design. I love obviously another plant-based one, so walking palm tree, so that's cool. It's got the old Harry, Curly, and Mo, the three heads with the different personalities, kind of like Dodrio has. And frankly, it just looks like no matter what Exeggutor is doing, it's just having a good old time. Like, it's happy to be alive.
I gotta say, it is one of the harder Gen 1 Pokemon to deal with, especially if you're playing the stadium games. Especially because bug types are so bad. They're still really good because it's, 4 times effective. But it is hard to deal with early on.
Oh, because they didn't have a lot of good offensive bug type moves back then. Even in Stadium 2, the list was pretty lacking.
Yeah, so the best you were going to really get was like Fury Cutter or Twin Needle if you had a Beedrill.
Mm-hmm. And Exeggutor, back then, Psychic types, even with the introduction of Dark types, were still fairly godly back then, so unless you had a Houndoom, you weren't dealing with an Exeggutor easily.
I was going to say, all Dark-type moves were special, and Exeggutor, I think, has pretty good special defense, from what I recall. Actually, it's its second worst stats at 75, but 75 is still not terrible.
Yeah, it's not really a slouch.
Like, the only thing you probably deal with it effectively would have been Heracross with Mega Horn.
And that you're relying on hitting, plus it can still hit back the Heracross for super effective damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is a good Pokemon to have around, especially with like other entries in this list. He's a grass type with numerous status effects to throw out.
Yeah, but I loved Facepalm when I used him competitive. That's why I had it when we did the Gen 1 MMO. That's why I had my Exeggutor Sway on the team. And while it's not particularly relevant to this list, I love what Gen 7 did to him.
Keep trying to tempt these guys to do FFAs again, but it's not working. Do it. Put in the comments that you guys want to see FFAs, so that way I can try to convince them.
I mean, I'd be down to.
I have been saying this. I've said it several times. You guys said, "Oh, all right," and then just said nothing past that.
Well, to be fair, you never followed up on it.
Exactly. Like we've all said.
All right, we'll talk about this after.
Yeah, it's up to you, the ringleader, to make your circus monkeys dance.
Say that about D&D.
Listen, you.
that cut deep, didn't it?
Listen, bitch. You.
So Zach, where's your D&D game coming?
I told you guys.
Moving on.
Listen, it doesn't cut me as D because Chris was supposed to go next.
You know what? My D&D game is here right now because I basically just submitted an Awakened Scrub as my level 5 or as my 5th round pick.
Oh, jeez. Well, I guess since I gotta finish off this list, I gotta finish this off strong, but there's so many good choices, so it's hard to pick just one out of everything that's left. I was hoping you guys... Honestly, I was hoping you guys would pick more of the things that I liked, so that way I had less options, so it'd be easier.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem I ran into.
Because I could pick... Honestly, none of us picked any legendaries. I could easily pick Mewtwo. I could easily pick Zapdos or Articuno. We got Aerodactyl just sitting there. There's so many cool things just sitting there for us.
Yeah, but how min-maxy do you really want to be?
It depends. I really don't know. I have to think for a second, actually.
Yeah. Now you're going to my thing. Okay, I see how it is.
No, honestly, I have to think. I don't know.
Yeah, you see my problem now. You see my plight.
Would have picked Snorlax because he's in my top 5, but someone stole that one from me.
You're welcome.
Someone stole Ninetales from me.
You're also welcome.
All these things. You know what? I'm gonna go for the internet pleaser, and because I do like this guy, I think he's great. No. the other internet pleaser. I'm going with Ammonite, Lord Helix himself.
No! This is impossible!
With man, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible.
Because, I mean, the dude is just adorable. Between the two fossils, I love them both. I think 90% of the time, 60% of the time, I take Ammonite over Kabuto. I love the little tentacles. He's just always ready. Like, he's always got his arms up, like, woo, I'm ready. Where are we going? Going on an adventure. And you get the two fossils so early, so you're, the first time you're going through, you don't know what these things are. So you're waiting and waiting, and by the time you get to reveal them, like, you're at the end of the game, so you're wondering what it's going to be, and it's this happy little squid-looking fella in a shell, little Nautilus dude, and I like what do you say about like Ammonite that hasn't already been said? He became an internet favorite, which by the way, that was 10 years ago now. Twitch plays Pokemon, the first one.
Don't you fucking tell me that. Don't make me feel any older than
Pokemon
feel.
Can we just
literally
insert
made
the
a
GIF
tweet
here of like the guy aging. Just insert that real quick.
Yeah.
Pokemon literally made a tweet saying today is his day, and it was just Ammonite. They were honoring Twitch Plays Pokemon 10 years. So
that's so absurd to me, given how hostile they've been for fan content.
It's well, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's another story.
And its abilities again, they transition into Amistar, so which is nice. But Swift Swim, we said before, good ability, always a good one. Shell Armor, good one. Avoid criticals. Weak Armor, also pretty good for something for it, although it usually leans more on the defensive. And then Ammonite itself is kind of crazy because its defense stat is 100 and special attack is 90. That's really high for a base, first phase Pokemon. And it comes with
I think it's taken all the Little Cup tournaments.
Apparently. And it comes with a pretty good move pool. Nothing too crazy, mostly water rock moves, but it comes with a bunch of ice moves. It comes with a few dark moves. You got Thief, Knockoff, Bite, which are all good. You got Stealth Rocks, you get Toxic Spikes.
Stat at all, unfortunately.
No, but it gets Shell Smash, so that's even more fun because we've seen that with Cloyster. How that'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Except it has a stat to use it.
You still boost special attack. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, that is another matter entirely.
Listen to Deadlock being a cute little glass half empty.
And if it's in Little Cup, then that's very viable. 35 speed is low, but
that is a strong stat.
And it comes with Scald, God's Protect, Rain Dance, like Sandstorm. Not many things come with Sandstorm, so good if you could set that up for the team if you have running a Sandstorm team.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't want to do Shell Smash, you got Rock Polish, so you have options. Also, it's shiny. Instead of being blue, it's purple.
Which I can appreciate.
And the shell turns a little bit more of a more vibrant yellow, which, makes sense. So I think.
Not to mention, you also get those rock and spikes for utility.
I said that already, but thank you for reiterating.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I in conclusion, Lord Helix clears all.
You basically just did the Pokemon equivalent of what I did with Malfestio. You picked the most disrespectful one for last.
Yeah, but did I? It's Ammonite.
That doesn't mean it can't be disrespectful.
Depending on your perspective, yeah, it is.
I mean, I didn't know what else.
It is because Omastar is better.
I didn't know what to pick when there's so many good options left. So honestly, it was hard to narrow down. Yeah, like I said, I just named a few off. I could have picked Zapdos, could have picked Articuno, could have picked Aerodactyl, could have picked Mewtwo. There were plenty of options still available. It was hard to pick just
there
one.
There are still plenty of options on my list.
So I went with the goofy one. I went with the goofy pick.
Only one of mine was stolen today, and it was Gengar.
Yeah, I had 2 potential picks stolen from me, which made my last pick harder. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I made a point to make my list ridiculously huge and come up with talking points for all of them. But let me see, going down the list, Scyther was on mine, Magneton was, Jolteon was, and Hitmonchan was.
Surprised you didn't have Lapras, to be honest.
That's more your thing than mine.
Yeah,
well,
I think the only one still from my list was MJ over there with Blastoise and Kabutops.
Well, as per our tradition that I've made doing this, MJ, whose list would you pick if you couldn't vote for your own?
If I couldn't vote for my own, and I had to choose someone else's, you say, as per the rules passed down by the gods. Of this
Praise
setting.
Felix.
What? No, fuck off. We only praise unknown in here.
That's the next
Mostly
gen.
because I can make a team to tell you to go fuck yourself, literally.
We're generally on that.
Sorry, Sonny,
I know.
your god is unknown to me.
To be honest, I'm gonna go with Chris's. I like Ninetales, I like Gyarados. Snorlax
Okay.
is always great.
I
Hitmonlee,
appreciate it.
Executor. Executor's not high on my list, but I like him. He's a big dopey guy.
Looking, and I actually didn't intend for it to read like this, but looking at my list now, you can see this as being 5/6 of a competitive team with the type coverage.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking we could have done maybe for the next gen we'll do 6 Pokemon just to do kind of that style, but we'll see what happens.
And then we can
Not bad.
battle in combat to prove which one's better.
Well, we might do
Don't
that.
tempt me. I was gonna say, don't tempt me.
Well, it depends on what's available. We'll worry about that later.
Comment down below if that's what you want to see.
I'll do it. I want to see that. Anyway,
Well, then
Deadlock.
comment down below, Zach.
I already will. Deadlock. Who are you? Who would you vote for if you couldn't vote for yourself?
I'll be honest, Chris's Gyarados and Snorlax really hit some good points on my end. But then again, MJ also has Blastoise, Kabutops, and honestly, Starmie is what pushes over for me on his list because those are all just some good roundabout Pokemon that can get a lot of work done.
Man, I'm feeling
As well
disrespected
as
right
them
now.
just being awesome in their own right.
I'm feeling disrespected.
Look, Zach, I would have picked you if you had gone with the superior Pokemon as your final pick. Omastar.
Superior's not in this game. In this game.
Man, look at Omastar. He's grooving over there.
Ooh.
You could have chosen the one that's grooving. Instead, you chose a washed up, former god.
All right, Chris, have a good
I'd also
opinion.
like- Well, first off, I'd also like to point out MJ's only saying that because he's got the evolved form of the Way of the Dome on his pick.
Indeed.
Early Domer.
But looking at all of this, I'm gonna have to go with Deadlocks.
God damn it.
Look, while I appreciate your dedication to Lord Helix, your lack of appreciation for Bird Jesus puts you at a bit of a setback.
Instead, you chose Jim.
How
That's
dare you?
good.
Jim is honestly the respectable choice on his, along with Lapras.
What about Jolteon? Hold on now.
Wow, Deadlock.
I have
I
Eevee
love
over
all
here.
of-
I don't want to hear it.
I
Yeah,
love
you-
all of the evolutions. Jolteon is the terrible pick on his team.
Not terrible. Just like one I'm not too
The
excited about.
disrespectful one.
Deadlock likes to be inferior. I understand. It's okay.
Yeah, shut up. You were saying, Chris?
To be fair, he does have Gengar.
Oh, but no, I wasn't saying anything.
No, you were picking my team for some reason.
Oh, well, I like the spread again. Like Magneton was one of the ones on my list. I definitely think it's cool, especially for being the only steel evolutionary tree in Gen 1. Eevee, I kind of agree with. I like the versatility, how it can grow up to be virtually anything it wants, be the Swiss Army knife that fits any situation. Gengar, always a nice pick. Victory Bell, again, I like that slightly better than the Vileplume line. And Tentacruel, just I have a thing for underappreciated, useful Pokemon, as I'm sure you've seen with Crobat.
I did just notice.
Yeah. Also, Golbat was actually in my honorables.
Ah, nice. Yeah, mine too.
I did just notice that
I also
Deadlock
noticed the more I
has
looked at
3
my
poison
list,
types.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the more I looked at my list, like, there's a lot of poison, even in my honorable mentions.
MJ has a lot of water on it. 4 out of his 5 are water.
Look, it's not my, it's not my problem that I want to stay
Water is a good
hydrated over here.
Pokemon type.
It is.
It is, but that is the only thing that kept me from picking MJ's list. So sorry, my dude, 7 out of 10.
Don't
He's
worry.
gonna, and he's gonna
Just
make this
step
joke
back,
again when it comes to Hoenn.
Yeah.
It is.
And I guess
All right,
I
Jack,
gotta
well,
go.
That leaves you.
Well, I want to vote for myself now because no one else voted for me, you bunch of assholes.
No,
But
yeah,
realistically,
what are you really gonna do?
realistically speaking, I'll go with Chris's here because Ninetales, asshole, and Snorlax again, asshole.
Both times, you're welcome.
Gyarados I like. I think it's a bit overrated, but I can't just say it's terrible because it's not. And Hitmonlee,
In any stretch of the imagination.
and Hitmonlee is like for me not too far behind Hitmonchan. So I'm okay with that pick because I like my high jump kickers. There's a few of them that I go with, and Hitmonlee is one of the ones I will go with in that case. The only one I'm not happy about is Executor, but that's more of a personal experience.
Again, you're welcome.
I hate you.
Yeah, but Facepalm
You
love.
say you hate it, but yeah, you picked his.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I can't disagree with the list for the most part. I mean, I'm not
You could
huge
have just
on.
picked mine instead.
I didn't feel like being 5. But honestly, it would probably be MJ's second for me, just because I like Blastoise, I like Bootop, Starmie's okay for me. I'm not huge on Scyther, and Cloyster I like.
Look, man, just get more in touch with your inner child. Or are
And-
you even a true Pokemon fan?
And Deadlock's list just pisses me off more than it should.
Why?
Gengar I hate, the disrespect to Vileplume and Victory Bell, and because you had to fight me about my Jolteon pick with your Eevee.
Yeah, that's the thing. Eevee's on there, and it becomes Jolteon.
Yeah, and Jolteon's just better. So fuck off. You didn't pick me, asshole.
You say
Right.
that with Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, the two of them are mutual. They're not. They don't. One doesn't evolve into the other.
Either
That's
way,
what makes Eevee good.
Well, don't worry, guys. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan get replaced anyway by the best one. I'm on top.
Not even close.
get the
Yep.
fuck out of here.
To be fair, him
Well,
on top is better.
Beyblade is cooler.
It's also pretty good in competitive. from what I
No,
understand.
I don't give a shit about competitive. It's just cool.
I mean, I know you don't, but there are some people who do.
Well, that being said, we I hope you guys enjoy this. You know, like the comment below. Whose list is your favorite? If you don't pick Lord Helix, clearly you do not respect Burgee's as well.
Remember what I said at the beginning of the video, everyone? A vote for me is the vote for the Queen of Dokapon Kingdom.
That's exactly why you're not going to get any.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
Say, there's a reason
I'm
the
pretty
kingdom's
sh-
falling.
I don't know. I got Deadlock's vote already.
MJ's ranks are in the toilet right now. We'll see you guys next time. We will do a Gen 2 one. It probably won't be the next draft list, but we will see.
Later.
I will say
Later.
before I go out, I'm slightly leaning to Zach's list more the more I think about it.
No, you're not. Shut up. I already
Too
won.
late.
Yay!
No, he's trying to buy Zach's vote now, so it doesn't count.
No,
It
I'm
was
not.
done
I'm
under
not. I'm
duress.
not. I'm not. No,
And
honestly,
either
I'm
way,
not
we're
ready
done.
than anything.
We're done.
Zach,
We're
close the
done. I
video.
won this-